The F major chord. Sorry, the F major chord. Now, if you're one of those guitarists who feels like that when they hear the word F major, then stop that. Now, for some reason, the F major chord inspires terror, and you know, you hear people saying, you hear guitarists, beginner guitarists saying, oh, I'll never play that, I can't do it, it's really difficult. Well, I think that Henry Ford said it perfectly when he said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So let's start being a little bit more positive, shall we? I'm going to show you 3 ways to play the F major chord, which is our chord for today. And I'm going to show you in the order that I learned them as well. And I'm also going to give you a bonus one at the end. So stay tuned. So version 1 uses 2 fingers. You're going to use your first finger and your second finger. And the first finger is going to do something called a mini bar. And what that means is on the first fret of the E string and the first fret of the B string, you're going to fret there with your first finger. So you're covering those 2 strings with 1 finger. This is a mini bar. Now, if you look at the diagram, it kind of looks like the first finger is flat, but it's not. It's kind of on its side, right? And that's one of the, again, it's one of the kind of the differences between the diagram and the actual reality. So you're going to cover your finger. You're going to cover those 2 strings with your first finger, and you're going to have this kind of sound here. Now your second finger is going to go on the second fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so you've got this finger down here, you've got this one here on the 2nd fret, and you're just going to play the top 3 strings. That's all you're going to play. Top 3 strings. Now the second version of the F major chord, we're just going to add 1 finger now, and what we're going to do is we're going to add on the 3rd finger at the 3rd fret. Remember, the frets are the metal bars going across. 3rd fret of the D string, okay, the 4th string. And with this, we're going to just play the top 4 strings. And remember, this is the top and this is the bottom, all right? And our string numbering is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, one thing you should always do when you're learning a new chord, you should always check that all the strings are ringing out, especially in a chord like this, F major. Play each string individually and make sure they're all ringing out. Make sure you've got no buzzing as well. You know, you don't want anything like that there. So it's a good idea to also check that your fingers are as close to the fret as possible. So just behind the fret if you can. Now I've got slightly short fingers, so sometimes when I play a chord like this, or indeed like the C major as well, for some reason my 3rd finger doesn't quite reach there naturally on its own. And it's just kind of slightly, there's always usually a bit of daylight between the frets. So strings are all ringing out, no buzzing, you've got a good sound. One of the reasons why I think many beginners kind of give up on this chord is because of this mini bar, you know, this little mini bar here. And all I can say is it's going to take time. This is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over a few days. It really does take time. You really need to practice this sort of thing as often as possible, as much as time permits. And in fact, let me know in the comments, how often do you practice? Do you practice every day? And how long do you practice for? 3 minutes a day, 5, 15, half an hour? Let me know down below how much you practice. But as I say, it takes time, so give it time. Now for version 3 of the chord, we're still using the 1st and 2nd finger, but we're now using all 4 fingers. We're also going to include the little finger. Right, now the little finger is going to go where the 3rd finger was before. So on the 3rd fret of the D string, the 4th string, and the 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the A string, the 5th string. And once again, check that your strings are ringing out. Check that there is not too much buzzing. And remember, it'll take a bit of time. So just have a go. And what you'll also do is, you'll notice that you're not playing the low E string. So you can use your thumb to dampen the string. Don't press the string, just lightly touch it. And there you go. It's it is a nice sound. Now why, four fingers for a chord. Now why would I include this one? Well, the thing is, for me, I find that when I'm using this version, I feel I've got enough strength to hold down the strings. And whereas with this version, the 4-string version, while I love this one, sometimes after a while I get a bit tired. But this one, there's something about I'm able to kind of really grip the guitar. Not too hard, my knuckles are not going white or anything like that. But I've got just enough strength to make it sound good. And also I think it's got a nice fuller sound, definitely compared to the first version. Let's talk about this bonus version that I mentioned. Now the bonus version is using your first, second and third finger, and it's like version 2, except you're not playing the bar, the mini bar. So you're only playing these 3 strings here, the 4th, 3rd and 2nd. Now your first finger is actually touching and it's dampening the string, the first string, the E string, the thinnest string, and then you can play it. But I think even though it's a nice little cheat, it's a nice way to get you started, I still think as soon as you can, start working on the mini bar, because bars are something that you're going to run into the longer your guitar journey plays out. So it's a good chord, but start really, push yourself to use that mini bar version of the chord. Check out the other guitar tutorials in this A Chord a Day Beginner Guitar Challenge series, and thank you so much for joining me today. Happy strumming.